Welcome everyone to another Pixelated review. I'm your host, Pixelated Jordan. So now we have a series review. It's a trilogy and it's called NeverNight. I saw this book and it looked really cool. First off, it said NeverNight. I was like, what does that mean? What does it mean to have not a NeverNight? I was like, what is that? And then the cover looks pretty cool and I was like, what's going on here? This is so weird. And I was like, yes, I gotta check it out. NeverNight. I gotta check it out. And as I did, as the little thumbnail can show you at the beginning, I'm a bit conflicted, needless to say. Ooh, spoilers in that, huh? But anyway, there is a lot of things I would like to say about this book. And of course, there will be spoilers for the seeable thing because it's the whole series. But yeah, so we're just gonna go by the first book and then the second book and the third book, and then we'll just wrap it around with the overall review, if you don't mind. So I think that's about it, so let's do our thing here, So without further ado, let's start this review. Book 1, NeverNight. Mia Corveri had a very troubling life, I guess you could say. She was raised kind of wealthy, and then until she wasn't. Her family died. Her dad was killed basically in front of her, also in front of a public place. So yeah, that was a thing. She also got this ability called the Darken ability, and it took shape of a cat. It eats all her fear away, just like all pets naturally do. And then, yeah, she basically goes on a journey for revenge on the people who wrongly killed her father and mother, and she also has a darken ability that eats her fear, so she went to go train at the Assassin's Creed stuff. I can't remember, but it does have some god stuff in there, and it's pretty cool. So, right off the bat, it's just a story about revenge. Plain and simple, can't really go argue about that. It does make me laugh though when I think about it. This does feel like an adult Harry Potter because, okay, other than later on, I'll explain that later. The houses of how it kind of works with the gods and stuff like that, the assassin house and stuff, like it's pretty cool. Like I really like that. They worship, I can't remember the name, but the blood mother something, mother of the blood. God, now I can't remember. Anyway, well, that's one of the things I really like about the book. It expands its world. Like there is their own gods. Not also that, there's 3 suns and there's no moon. The moon is gone, and that's by another god. And its lore and the god lore is just, God, I love it. As much as I praised about the other book having its own gods and lore, how it built it around that. Yeah, this one is like that, dialed up to 11, and it's like, wow, this guy had to spend 10 years. Probably crafting the entire world of the lore and the world within inside. Seriously, the world building in this entire series is absolutely amazing, and I cannot fault it for that. And the story is pretty simple and gets straight to the point and all that good stuff. So, what is the problem I have with it? That you might be asking, why am I so conflicted? Well, that comes for a simple reason. That is the dreaded footnotes. Yes, as you see here, this thing has a bunch of footnotes. And the problem with the footnotes is that they stop the story. Literally, the first footnote that just stopped it were that they're in the desert and they needed to travel to get to the mountain to find the assassin place to go. And there's these giant worms, think Dune. I think that's the best way I can describe it. And they just come out of the ground and they're looking menacing and all that stuff. It's like, oh man, it's about to get serious. And then all of a sudden, it stops to explain how they discovered that these worms were as smart as dogs, and a scientist was taking care of it for a while, and it just stopped right there, and then the action happened, and it took me out of it. And there's so many instances that this happens in the story, and it bugs me. It bugs me so much that I just can't enjoy the story. If the story didn't have any of these, and then maybe there's a problem with that. But it stops me from enjoying the story for what I want to enjoy. As simple as the story is, it's very simple. And there is a twist in this for the bad guys in here, but beyond that, the footnotes just break the immersion for me so bad that I just don't like it. And that's the big problem with it, because I really enjoyed the book as if it was just by itself without the footnotes. Great. Problem is, if it didn't have the footnotes, I would not know anything about the world, and the world building would just be crumble apart. That's the biggest problem about this story. There's no character to talk to about lore in this world unless it's broken down by its footnotes. Granted, it is written in someone. This book, NeverNight, exists in the world of NeverNight. It's a bit weird, but it there's a thing for that. It's funny, but it is written by someone within the world. But even then, it breaks down so much the immersion, and it bugs me to no end that this is how the best way the author thought it was to convey his world. And it bugs. Because if it didn't have it, I'd be okay with it. But since it does have it, it breaks everything that I would love to say about the story. But for the story, it's solid, it's good. It's just the footnotes. Also, it's got that spicy stuff to it, so I don't know if you're into that. I'm really not, but it came out of nowhere for me. I wasn't expecting it, so yeah, there's that in there. So let's talk about book 2, why don't we? Book 2, God's Grave. So after book 2, not only is she enlisted with the assassins, but she's also got an extra companion, a wolf companion, because one of the other guys had dark ability. And, he died, and someone being near that is darkened, well, they're able to keep their ghost, or their shadow person thing to darken. Well, they had to kill him. So she had to kill him for the last part for him to transfer over. It's a little complicated, but trust me, it makes sense. Anyway, we take place after that, and now she's still on her revenge. You know, she didn't get it on the last one. She didn't kill the people responsible in politics. There's a whole little politic thing going on that they are not allowed to kill those guys, but obviously she doesn't care. But she got around this by going through basically gladiatory arena. And it was honestly a lot of fun fight scenes, and there's actually another person that had darkened ability, and there's actual exposition for that one at least. But we are ended up in the same place as before. Footnote after footnote after footnote. Again, there's so much that it just tells so much of the history, stopping the story when it was getting interesting or good, just breaking the immersion. And it sucks because this one had the most action and was generally a lot of fun. And we got to explore more, not only of the world, because the world is still good, but the darkened abilities themselves and where they came from. There's more things coming about the god of the sun and the children he had, and then the moon itself too. There is so much that's going on in this book, like when it comes to lore, which is excellent. Darken's got some expansion, which is great. And yet, it's still held back by all the multitude of footnotes it has, and it bugs me so much because I wish it did not. It does sound like this is like a review of the footnotes. I know, I'm sorry, but that's how much these footnotes just get in the way of this book that is generally really good. It does bug. But I'll tell you this though, this one, they did kind of come back with a weird twist though. In the previous book, there was a love interest named Trick. He died. Her name is Ash. She killed him, and now she's in this book, and now they're lovers, which was weird. I feel like it's forced, a little bit conveyed, but they like each other now. That's a thing. Mia Culveri and then Mary is in love with the killer, her murderer of someone she loved. That's weird. Anyway, also, but the ending was a good twist. She thought her whole family was dead, including a little brother she had. But no, he was actually still alive. Wow, what a twist. And her dad actually wasn't her dad. Most of that's explained later, but point is her brother was still alive, which was a good twist, which I wasn't expecting for. And honestly, it did leave me wanting the third one more. And it made me very excited. It's just that this sucked because there's so much footnotes. And I really hate that about it. Because I could enjoy this book if it wasn't without that, but I have to bring them up because of how much it bugs me. Okay, I'll try not to talk about footnotes too much in the next one. So let's get on to book 3. Book 3, Dark Dawn. What a way to end a trilogy. But also to really bug me with the footnotes. I know, I said I wasn't going to talk about them, but I got to still, because, oh my god, this one kind of got bad. So, it is revealed who is writing the book. It's one of Mia Scolveri's first masters that took her in when she was a kid, when she had no family. And it was him the entire time. Wow, who would have guessed? Wow. I mean, no, okay, literally, who would have guessed? I would never thought that. Anyway, they got really bad though, because it just in the middle of nowhere, it literally just pointed out, oh yeah, here's another footnote. If you don't like it so much, how about you write your own book if you want to? I'm like, dude, that's just not cool. I know it's within character and I shouldn't get mad about it, but man, that's kind of like insulting to the audience. That's something that just straight up you shouldn't say as an author, or even if it is within a character. I think it's something that needs to be kind of one of those taboo subjects of an author. Shouldn't be calling out stuff like that. Anyway, beyond that, this is by far the most action-packed one, other than the Gladiator Arena, which you would think that would be the most action-packed. But no, this one had more to do with the gods and God's power and the darkened abilities, which, my god, this one was the best one. Not only did they actually tell the lore with an exposition by character from another character, which his name is Trick, we'll get onto that in a little bit, and it was actually good. I genuinely liked it. And just the way it ended too, with the gods and how they even visualizing it, I loved it. It was so great. Like the reference from the last book called God's Graves, there's a reason for that. Absolutely love it. But this was just an absolute good way to kind of end a trilogy. The father was actually not Mia Scolveri's father. It was actually the guy who killed, quote unquote, her father, but that was actually her actual father. All right, make sure you follow along. It was something that was really, really good. I enjoyed the climactic battle at the end. It was something else. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And there was just so much just going on in this book that I just can't help myself but to love. There's even a pirate adventure. I didn't think I was going to get into that, but I did. That was fun. There is a love triangle in this one, and that one's a love triangle, so let that sink in for what you will. Okay, cool. But yeah, this was it could have been great, could have been better. And now I know you're wondering why I haven't made a rating, because all these ratings are going to be the same. And I know some people think that's a cop-out, but trust me, I have my reasons, and I think you already know my reason why. Overall, I think the series overall is going to get a rating of meh tier. Why am I giving the rating so early? It's because I have a little explanation. The reason it's a meh tier is because of those footnotes, and I'm sorry that it's on my mind, but it's there. And I can't help myself because of how badly it put me out of the story, especially in the third one, just straight up insulting the audience. I know it's within character, but there is still taboos you probably shouldn't cross as an author. Point is, there is a lot to enjoy from this series. There is so much things to like. I love the world building. I love the gods. I love the characters. Mia Scolveri is an excellent character on her own. I really do like her. Trick is a good character. Ash, I never really liked her, actually, to be honest. And then the school, with the blood, I can't remember her name, Blood God or something like that. There's a lot of cool things. Definitely the darkened ability with the moon, the suns, and there's a NeverNight. I didn't explain why it's called NeverNight, because there's technically a NeverNight, because there is no moon, and the three suns are constantly there. Now, technically, scientifically, that wouldn't work, but, with this is fantasy, we're gonna let it slide. But it was so good that I just enjoyed. When the story was just being a story, I was immersed. I was having a good time. I enjoyed the characters for what they were. I enjoyed the story when it was doing the story stuff. I hated the story when it stopped doing the story stuff. And that's the biggest crime that NeverNight commits. It doesn't have a character for the audience to grab onto, for exposition to be dumped on. And I know a lot of people go like, oh, that's just bad, they shouldn't do that. And I agree, they shouldn't. But when it's necessary, like for the Darkened Billy, we literally got a whole history lesson on that, but it was told by a character. I'd rather have that than the story being stopped for just random hints of history and lore and stuff like that. I'd rather have exposition traditionally than the story being stopped. I think that's the biggest thing about that. So, yes, I think if there was an HBO series of some kind, or TV show, or movie, I'd watch this thing. I absolutely would. Like, if it doesn't do any of that, like, break the immersion, like, trying to get out of it, yeah, no. I would watch the series, without a doubt. I would be glad to watch the series. The show, if it was a show, man, I can just see the fight scenes being crazy, because the fight scenes are absolutely great. I love it. It's so good and creative, especially how she uses the darken abilities. She can hold shadows. I forgot to mention that. She can hold shadows and stop you in your place. Pretty great. Also, they drink your fear, so also there's that. Point is, though, there is good characterizations in this book. There is good action pieces in this book, and the world is absolutely gorgeous and also terrifying at the same time. Point is, this can be a book for somebody who would enjoy it, who doesn't mind the story being at a stop, I guess you could say, for just a little bit extra of the world. If you're not like that person who rather just have the story being told and wait for the exposition, or wait for, I guess, a history lesson after the credits roll, you might not enjoy it. I wouldn't mind if there was a whole catalog of, all this history in the back of the book or something like that. Just something just there, just so people can just read it on their own terms. Heck, Aeon Legion did that correctly. They have a whole history lesson on their stuff, and it's in a glossary, and it's good because you can read that anytime you want to. NeverNight should have done the same thing, or try different ways to convey the world what is necessary. And that's what sucks about this. Oh, also, I thought I should mention this, just so I don't forget. The third book, for some reason, is $50 on Audible, even with your membership. Do not buy that. It is never worth $50 for an audio. I don't care how long it was. What's it called? Sword of Truth? The second book's 32 hours long, and it's only $20. So I'm just saying, this is only 24 hours. It's not. There shouldn't be no reason why you should pay $50 for one audio. Just point it out there. Okay. Yes. So I'll tell you the rating again, just in case you forgot. So, NeverNight series gets a rating of meh. Thanks for watching. Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you guys want any more book reviews, series reviews, I have plenty more on the way, and I have plenty more in the playlist here. So if you would like any other books to read or any other suggestions, here you go. I got some for you. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.